What is up, internet? I am Midnight, and this is Midnight TV Talk. And if you know me, then you know that American Dad is one of my favorite animated sitcoms of all time. It has become one of my comfort shows. I can turn it on, hear the dialogue, and fully visualize any scene. It is created by Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane, and unlike its sister show, American Dad does not rely on gags or cutaway jokes, but compelling writing. One of the stories I love is Stan's story dealing with ED and body image issues. The American Dad After School Special is the second episode of the second season according to Hulu. It has a major plot twist, good joke delivery, and a different look at a serious topic. So let's take a deep dive into this episode starting with the title. For 25 years, ABC had an anthology series called the ABC After School Special. In this block, they would present dramatic situations dealing with younger people, including substance abuse, illiteracy, and body image issues.
At the risk of sounding like an after-school special, I think we learned who the real animal was today.
You mean peer pressure?
While the two former subjects I mentioned tends to be gender neutral, the issue of body image tends to be labeled as a girl issue. However, it is very much a gender neutral issue. Growing up, I can remember a handful of TV shows that address body image and the negative outcome of this issue, which include dietary disorders.
Laura, what are you doing?
Girl, starving myself and exercising isn't working, so I'm gonna take diet pills.
While the majority of these shows were centered around girls, there were only one episode I can remember that involved boys. This will be the Degrassi episode Mirror in the Bathroom, where the character Toby would purge himself in order to make weight for the wrestling team. This brings us to American Dad. In this episode, Macho Man Stan develops an ED, so let's go scene by scene to see how this happened, but first let's discuss the dynamic of the Smith family. Stan is a stereotypical right-wing conservative. Being a CIA agent, he is very law-abiding and believes the current socio-economic system of America works. He also adheres to the Western European standard of beauty, which we will see later on in this video. Francine is a stereotypical housewife. Though portrayed as an airheaded blonde woman, she is usually the voice of reason. She allows Stan to do his antics up until a point. The point being when it begins to negatively affect the other members of the family. Haley is a liberal hippie. She is against everything that conservative Macho Man Stan is for. Though her views on the world are different, she is just as proud and opinionated as her father. Steve is your basic nerd. He is meek, unpopular with the ladies, and is bullied in school. While he craves his father's approval, he usually falls short from gaining it, mostly because he doesn't fit Stan's Macho Man ideals, which are conservative values, muscular physique, and having a beautiful woman. But when given a chance, Stan always tries to help Steve reach these milestones of manhood. This brings us to this episode. The American Dad After School Special starts off with Steve avoiding gym class, where he runs into a girl named Debbie doing the same thing. The two hit it off, and Stan runs home to tell his family. This is where we get an idea of how Stan views himself.
That's one impressive man. Handsome, fit, the whole package.
That's great, Stan. Can we stop staring at your reflection in the TV and actually turn it on now?
Stan has what we call a dad bod. A dad bod is a male physique that is noticeably muscular and has a high body fat percentage. It is usually associated with middle-aged fathers, specifically those who had a athletic physique in their younger years, but due to settling down and starting a family, they have developed an inactive lifestyle, thus gaining weight. Statistically speaking, this is the most attractive body type to women due to its association with down-to-earth and comedic personalities. Steve comes in and starts describing Debbie's personality to the family, but Stan wants to know Debbie's affiliations in school.
So, what's this Debbie's affiliation? Varsity cheerleader or regular cheerleader?
Actually, she's more of an artist. She played Lady Macbeth in our school production of Oklahoma.
So she's an actress. Atta boy, my son is dating a hot actress.
This shows Stan's ideology towards certain labels. To him, only attractive people can be cheerleaders or actresses. After Stan motivated Steve with an explosive collar, Steve invites Debbie to dinner, and this is where Stan discovers the shocking truth.
Where's Debbie? Behind that fat girl?
No, Dad,
Is the fat girl going to lead us to Debbie?
No, that's...
She's carrying a purse. She must have a map to Debbie in her purse.
Dad, that's Debbie!
After panicking, Stan expresses his disappointment over Debbie.
For what? You brought fat into our house.
And this is where Francine and Haley calls out Stan for his hypocrisy.
Who are you to judge someone's weight?
You people are crazy. I'm in great shape.
They're right, Stan. You've let yourself go.
After Stan realizes what they are saying about him is true, he begins a strict diet and workout regimen. After 3 weeks of working out, Francine explains that Stan looks great, but he does not see it for himself.
Stan, you've been working out for 3 weeks. You look great.
Great as in great big fatso.
Shortly after, Stan runs into a personal trainer named Zach that notices his weight problem.
I couldn't help noticing you're kind of fat and pathetic.
Name's Zach. I'm a personal trainer.
I'll do anything to look like you. When can we start?
Later at dinner, Haley explains that they need to help Stan eat more. When Stan walks in with his workout clothes, we, the audience, can see that Stan still has a gut. He explains that until he loses this extra weight, he has to stay on his diet, but Francine insists that he is not fat.
Stop it. You're not fat. Now, come on. I made your favorite pot roast.
Get that away from me! Die, calories, die!
The next day, Zach turns up to Stan's house and convinces Stan that his family is trying to sabotage him.
What am I doing wrong? No matter what I do, I keep gaining weight.
Dude, it's your family.
They want me to get fat like that girl, so I'll apologize to Steve.
Unfortunately for Stan, he discovers that this is true. Stan calls them out for this and they tell him that he's crazy.
You are sabotaging my veggies to keep me fat.
Dad, you're not fat. Besides, how could we sabotage your veggies? Oh, your diet is making you paranoid, Stan.
Whew, that was close. Hand me the syringe of lard.
This'll fatten him up.
Okay, I must say this. Do not do this. Do not do things behind a paranoid person's back, and then when they call you out for doing the exact thing you are doing, you tell them that they are crazy. This would just make them more paranoid. Now that the seeds of mistrust have been planted, Stan goes to work and fails doing an obstacle course. His boss tells him not to come back to work until he deals with his weight.
Get up, Smith! I have no choice but to suspend you until you deal with your weight problem.
Now, take notice of the language used here. He does not say fat or thin, he says weight problem. When Stan returns home to confront his family, we, the audience, discovers the shocking truth.
Look at me!
It's worse than we thought.
I know! I'm a huge tub of lard. Tell him, Zach!
Bro, don't listen to them.
Stan, there's no one there. Who are you talking to?
Stan has developed ANO and is bone thin and is suffering from hallucinations. Now, this is where I have to applaud the writers. This entire time we were watching the show from Stan's perspective, but we did get hints throughout the way. From here, the family forces Stan to go to group counseling for his ANO, and take notice how the counselor speaks to him.
Eating disorders are no laughing matter, young lady. Now, I know in high school, in the showers with the other girls, you feel uncomfortable with your body.
Ooh.
When was the last time you menstruated?
This shows how the world still associates dietary disorders with high school women. After talking to the counselor, Steve discovers the reason behind Stan's behavior, so he breaks up with Debbie.
Has there been a change at home?
A change at home?
You brought fat into our house!
No, Debbie, this breakup has nothing to do with my dad at all. Forget me, big, beautiful creature.
However, this does not help because 1, Stan does not think he has a problem, 2, he learns new ways to avoid eating from his friend Veronica, and 3, he believes Steve is happy not being with Debbie.
Stan, you're eating so well.
Let's just say I learned a lot from my new friend Veronica.
You just keep focusing on getting better, Dad. And you'll be glad to know Debbie won't be around to upset you anymore. We went our separate ways!
It's good to see he's finally happy.
Again, I want to applaud the writers because while ANO people do take steps to deceive people on their recovery, they show it in an animated way. People cannot hide entire sandwiches in their mouth for days. After talking to Steve, who is still upset about his breakup with Debbie, Stan sets him up on a date with Veronica at the same restaurant that Roger and Debbie go on a date to. Oh yeah, there is a whole B-plot where Roger is pining for Debbie because she reminds him of a female Mr. Belvedere. Let's just go with it. Here we see that Stan still has not changed his ideology regarding beauty.
What I tell you, huh? Look at her. She's the picture of health.
Meanwhile, Francine and Haley discover Stan's food graveyard. They then confront Stan at the restaurant, and this is when Steve lets Stan know his true feelings over the situation.
I broke up with Debbie because I thought it would help you, and you weren't even trying? I had a real connection with someone for the first time in my life, and all you cared about was her appearance. I don't care if she was fat or thin. She was sweet and beautiful.
Luckily for Steve, Debbie hears his entire speech and the two make up. And once Stan realizes that Steve is happy, he stops hallucinating and starts working on having a better diet.
Steve, whether you want to date a fatso, a girl with hairy arms, or even one with Kirsten Dunst teeth, it doesn't matter to me. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Thanks, Dad.
It's good to have you back, Stan.
It's good to be back.
The American Dad After School special is just peak American Dad. Not only does it deliver on the jokes, it also covers a serious topic without compromising the atmosphere of the show or making any of the Smiths act out of character. And because of this, it has become a timeless classic. But let me know what you think of this episode in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one.